So let's start with the standing massage and the sitting massage. So, and then we'll come to sit and rest. Now, if you want to come to your feet, so as you stand, just shift your weight a little from foot to foot, side to side, about shoulder width, give or take. Then rock your weight a little forwards and a little back. Bit of space under the armpits, let the shoulders drop. Chin a little in, back of the neck long. And then just a touch from side to side, from foot to foot, left and right, right and left. And if you're electing to sit instead of stand, then you can kind of circle the pelvis a little bit. Feel the weight shift from sit mode to sit mode. Forwards, back, side to side. Good. And when you've found that, you can find the kind of center line, middle of the ball of the foot, heel extended behind you. Just bring the hands to the lower abdomen and direct the breath where the hands are. A nice, deep, easy breaths, abdominal breaths. Good. Then bring the palms together and give them a rock. Keep the shoulders settled. Nice and loose. You can have a little bit of bigger if it's cooled. You can include the wrists, a little bit of the forearms, back of the hands, arms, etc. Good. Then bring the hands to the hips and stroke down the legs. And stand. And again, stroke down the legs and stand. And then down the outside of the legs and up the inside and up the center line of the body. Up the arm and down the arm. Down and up. And down and up. You know the pattern by now. You're coming up the midline and down the kind of outside line. Speed, pace, pressure. They're all kind of intuitive. If you're cold, you go a little quicker. Couple more. And when you're ready, finish on a downstroke. Then easy breath in, sweeping the arms wide, and sigh your way out. Couple more times. In breath and sigh. 3 or 4 is plenty. Good. And let that go. So drop the chin. Nice tall spine, but the head and neck are bowed. And not rounding the upper back. And then just loosen the shoulders. Nice and free jiggle. If you're sitting, you can bring one forwards, one back. That kind of slight twisting. Chest and face stay forwards. If you're standing, you can have a good old jiggle. And then let that subside and the head slowly come up. Just enjoying the sensation of engendered, woken up. Ah. And then when you're ready, you can sit with your legs extended, your legs out. You can use a cushion, but you don't want to be too high. If you want to do it on a chair, you can do. You just have to sit towards the front of the chair, and you probably won't get right to your feet. So generally, this is taught sitting. If you rub your paws again, just energize them. I'll let you all get settled there as much as I can see. And then the hands come on the inside of the thighs. This is a little bit more prescriptive than the other massage in that you will exhale, and that's through an open mouth, quite a strong exhale as you stroke down. And then it's a nice light in breath as you come up. Hands come up towards the armpits. So if they start on the inner thighs, take an easy breath in and sigh your way down and back up and down. Coming up, just breathe in. It can be through nose and mouth. Generally, it's just an easy in breath. Longer out, easier in. And if you can't reach the feet, who cares? Just go over the shins. You can bend the knees, of course. You don't have to be locked. How fast, slow, or whatever you go. Can depend on the breath, but then the breath can meet the movement. Chicken and egg, right? And then when you're ready, you simply throw the hands away on a nice deep ha. You don't have to vocalize unless you want. And sit. If you're clever, you can just bring the legs in to sit, but you may need to arrange yourself a little. And by all means, use a blanket over the knees or around the low back if you're cold. With a bit of luck, that's warmed us up a touch. So just settling yourself a little. We haven't finished with the massages, but it's nice just to give yourself a moment to recover. You might need to allow a bit of time for the breath to recover. You don't need to do anything with that. The body will come into equilibrium. Now just assess for yourself whether you feel the hands are warm enough. Why? Because you're going to touch skin. If they're not, you may need to just wake them up again. If you think they're okay, then don't worry. So if you bring the heel of the hands together, the wrist really, I call it the heel, and then the hands can come lightly onto the throat. Be a little mindful if you've got earrings or a necklace on or anything. Let the throat get used to the hands being there. Just light contacts initially. And then when you're ready, you can take the head one way and the elbows the other. Again, you probably know this well. Don't make it mechanical. Kind of savor it so we under kind of stick in one area or need a little as well as stroke. You can do. Sometimes the back of the neck and enjoy the kind of fingertip pressure where the skull meets the body of the neck. Don't worry too much about the spine itself, but the ridge at the base of the skull. And then the kind of meat of the neck. And then if it feels good to and right to, you can bring the hands onto the face. So there might still be that little side to side movement of the head, but the hands have got more kind of free for all to go where you feel is good. If you're not sure, jaw and temples is a good place. Good places. You may be drawn to anyway. And if you just pinch, again, assuming you haven't got earrings, then just pinch the lobe of the ears, just to finger and thumb to stroke down the lobe of the ear. And then around the rim of the ear. I can't remember what that's called, you perhaps know. Just a very light pinch. Both sides. Not actually a series of massage points in the Kum Nye text, but it is in one of the Kum Nye massage books. And it's in the Tibetan Ayurvedic text that I have. And then just stroke behind the ears, or thing to say, so that line that becomes the hinge of the jaw and then down the jaw. And if you pinch along the ridge of the jaw, which is in the face massage in the Kum Nye book, gently pinching along the kind of crest of the jaw. And then the bit that nobody likes is the wattly bit underneath the chin, underneath the jaw there. You can either pinch it or gently rub it with your fingers. Don't go to the throat, it'll make you cough, but underneath the jaw. And then another one that isn't in the book is if you just run your tongue, like an old person might rattle their tongue around the dentures. My grandmother used to make me cure. But you just run your tongue around your teeth, top and bottom. And then we're going to steal from yoga Ayurveda, stick your tongue out and bring it high. Try and touch your nose. And then bring it low. Try and touch the tip of your chin. And then try and touch your left ear. And try and touch your right ear. Nose. Tip of the chin. Left ear. And right ear. Good. Relax the face jaw. Feel your breathing. And then the jaw itself can relax. And the mouth's very slightly open. Just a whisper of being open. And allow the tongue to just subtly lift the tongue tip towards the upper palate, just behind the top teeth. The Joy of Being version would be to curl it slightly back at that point. But for now, just allow the tongue tip to sit on the upper palate there. The alveolar ridge, if I've pronounced that right. Very light, very delicate tap. And then see if you can even the breathing between nose and mouth. 50-50. Not like that, of course, but that feeling of evenness. Check the head alignment. And very slightly down, back of the neck feeling long. Eyes can be very soft gaze or closed if you wish. And find the flow of breath. Now, as you exhale, you can extend the exhalation, the flow of breath, out into the distance ahead of you. Not, of course, the literal breath as such, but the feeling of breathing. Extend away. Like a river running away along a plain into the distance or into the ocean. And in breath, you simply relax and receive. And the out breath out into the space. You might feel the play of the lower body as you breathe. You might feel the movement of the ribs. Don't worry too much about the mechanics. Do allow a kind of fullness or complete relaxation into the end. And that little bit of energy behind the out breath or through the out breath. Physiologically, it's stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, the quietening down response to extend the exhale a little. If you need to energize, you do it the other way around, but we're not doing that. Any trouble, difficulty, or equivocation, you can just breathe, forget the instruction. Nobody will know. Don't worry if you don't kind of get it. Some of these things do take practice. Sometimes they take years. You can refine. Now, as you feel the breath, can you relax in the throat, the softness or soothing quality? And then you can allow a relaxing as well as the throat and the heart region. You can imagine the flow of breath, both the in and the out, touching the heart center, gently stimulating the heart center. I always think of it like imagine an old-fashioned gas heater, water heater, with the pilot light. You turn it up, it just kind of flames a little, sparks a little. Just allow the heart to shine a little as the breath passes that area. Literally go that way, but you know what I'm getting. On the pulse and rhythm of the breath. Soothe the throat. Gently stir the heart. And of course the abdomen supporting it all from underneath. And the instructions, the kind of signposts of working, you can dissolve a little. All the words can fade, but the feelings, the sensation can continue to flow. So energy is not a static thing. Feeling isn't a static. Here we're staring at it quite deliberately. Drop a little more into that second of the seven gestures. That's the length, the uprightness through the spine. And imagine the kind of vertical line through the center of the body, the central channel, and below the navel, all the way up into the head. Perhaps you're aware of the head center, the throat center, the heart, just below the navel area, that line. And the text suggests a gentle spiral of light way above you, slowly coming down, slightly spiraling down, like the thread of a screw, if you like, but soft, light, radiant, coming down, entering through the head and moving down through the body. Can't remember which exercise it is. Kind of connect to that vertical. It doesn't say so, but you could send it right the way down into the earth as well. Simply say down through the energy centers, the center line of the body, if you like. Don't overthink it, just imagine or visualize. And if you're wondering what's the difference between imagination and visualizing, visualizing in these teachings tends to mean it has a feeling element to it. Imagination is kind of visual. And then you can dissolve it and just sit in the kind of result, if you like. There are all sorts of fancy ways of dissolving it down into the head or into a particular center, often described as a dot of white light. But you can just let the idea go and simply rest. Let go what's come before. Don't get involved. go any sense of projecting or thinking ahead or clock watching. Let all that go. And any kind of desired result or worry that you're doing it right or am I feeling this? No kind of present concern. Just be. No past, no future, no present concern. Just resting in or resting with. So relaxation isn't just a physical relaxing way you feel. That's part of it, of course. But it's relaxing that which is feeling. The mind itself doesn't need to get involved. Give it space, give it time and space just to be. Only person who needs to keep an eye on the clock is have a minute or so. Okay. Genuine question. Are you warm enough to lie down? Yes. I've seen two thumbs up. I'll take that as a yes. So if you bring yourself onto your back, ideally with a little bit of room to stretch your arms and legs out. If you haven't got quite that width, then you may need your arms at less of an angle. You can use a very small pillow. I wouldn't use a high one. And if you want a blanket to hand to rest after the exercise, you can do. Of course, while it's less than ideally warm. we're going to work with the wobbly bridge. It's a favourite for many people, myself included. Okay, not an ideal picture. Perhaps the other camera might help. Yeah. Okay. So you need a little bit of room to stretch your legs out and a little bit of width, or perhaps something under the head, so that you can keep the chin in and you might be able to keep that soft breathing through the throat with the tongue slightly lifted. What you don't want to do is shorten the back of the neck. That's the purposes of a little bit of lift with the head. Start with your legs bent so that you can feel the lower back or the upper back, kind of thoracic spine, your dorsal fin area, and the back of the pelvis. You might feel the lumbar back a little less engaged with the floor, depends on the kind of alignment of your lumbar curve. If you feel you want to pick the pelvis up and put it down again, just that little bit further from the roots, you can do. And if you want to pick the head up a little and move it away from the upper back a little, you can do. So kind of the bony landmarks of the contact with the ground, the head, the upper back, the back of the pelvis, are almost moving apart without actually doing the moving. You're looking for length across the back or down the back. And then if you take the arms to the sides, doesn't need to be right angles, can be a little less. And obviously you're accommodating the space you're in as well. Making accommodations for the space you're in, better description. You can feel width as well, so length and width. You can imagine spreading a little. Like something warm left out, so butter left out, just slowly melting. Or like ink on a butter, built in, spreading. Or ice cream on the pavement. Spreading. That's adding too. Ideally, palms are face up, but do feel free to modify that instruction if it suits you. Then you can bring the feet in a little, just for a moment, keep them at hip width, and gently flatten the lower back a little more by tilting the tail up. You might feel the slight engagement of the abdomen coming down. And then if you tip the tail a little more towards the floor, you jink the pelvis, tilt the pelvis, and the lower back will arch a little. The tummy might distend a touch. You can gently rock that tail up and tail down, allowing the lumbar back to lengthen and then arch. So as the tail comes down, the back will arch a touch. Don't overdo it. And as the tail points up, the back will lengthen a touch or flatten a touch. You can play with that a little. And then inquire, test the water. And then just rest. Breathe. And then if you bring the feet close, kind of the big toe, the heel, close to each other, and you allow the knees to fall open. Now, the arch of the foot will lift, the big toe might lift a touch. Keep it down. You aren't bringing the soles of the feet together. The edges of the feet together, the soles of the feet are flat or on the ground. They might not be flat, but they're on the ground. Then allow the lower back to flatten by tilting the tail up a little. Just gently, gently allow the tail to lead you up. So the back of the pelvis will gently lift or tilt and lift. Very gradually, the back will peel off the floor, like lifting a sticker slowly off the backing, or peeling a strip of Velcro slowly apart, or undoing a zip, almost millimeter by millimeter rising. If this doesn't suit your lower back or the sacroiliac area, the back of the pelvis, then you may want to work with the feet parallel, the thighs parallel at hip width. So you can modify if you need to. Otherwise, feet close and knees wide. Now, as you rise, you'll kind of meet a point where you think if I go any further, the kind of muscular changes, the way you're kind of moving or holding. There's a little biting point, a little moment. And if you go too high, it's a strain. If you go too low, nothing's going on. You find the kind of Goldilocks moment that's not too hot, not too cold, it's just right. And when you find that kind of hover point, you can breathe. You might feel the play of the abdomen. Sometimes you feel a little bit of quaking in the body. That's all right. Just breathe with it. Now, can you follow the out breath from the abdomen through the body and out of the mouth, or out of the mouth and nose? And then the tide of the in-breath in. And maybe a very, very subtle rise and fall of the body on the breath. Don't do that. Just see if that's your experience. It might be millimeters, may even be slightly imperceptible. You're not creating the movement, you're just seeing what comes. The key word was might be. And if there is that kind of spinal rhythm as you breathe, you may find that that plays right through the spine to where the upper back meets the floor. You may find that your contact with the floor gets a little bit more emphasis at one point of the breath, and a little less or another point of the breath. So be interested in how you meet the ground as much as you are in lifting and breathing. It isn't a fixed thing. You're not pushing down any more than you're lifting up. Keep it even and breathe. Not too long. And then very slowly you can articulate your way down. Upper back, middle back, lower back, pelvis. Take your time. Tail is the last thing that you release. Very bottom of the spine. Duk, 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 duk. Ah, enjoy the landing and sigh. Quietly slide a leg away. And rest. Feel the leg fall away. And follow that with the other. If you want to bring the arms down a little closer to the body, you can, or just leave them as is. Just sense how the body meets the floor. I don't know what sort of surface you're on. I'm assuming a mat, a carpet, or a yoga mat. Can you imagine that you're settling a little deeper into that surface? Imagine being on sand or outside on the grass. With a real kind of sense of give. Or in a hammock. Feel your weight. Just let go and feel. It's not impossible, you've still got a sense of breathing. If that's the case, mingle it with sensation. Let things be kind of stirred and alive. Feelings can move. Like air pressures and weather patterns on a body, planet, or like tides and currents of a body of water. Things are alive and moving, even in stone. Now, we're going to repeat the exercise, but you don't have to do it in the same way twice. You could change the angle of the arms, they could be higher or lower. You could change the distance of the feet from the body, further away or closer to your bottom. You can experiment or taste a slightly different flavour. So as you bring the feet up and the arms up if they were down, just see how the kind of resting of that feels before you rush into anything. It's one of the slowest exercises in the way you leave the floor. So soles of the feet down, knees open. Generally the lower back will lengthen a little as the tail points up, pelvis tilts. And the gradual leaving of the ground, little by little by little by little by little, until you find the point that feels kind of delicious. If you want to nudge a little further, work a little more energetically, be my guest. Or if you want to keep it quite low and sedate, be my guest. Or you can find that perfect point. It might mean coming up and down a little till you feel it. The text says go as high as you can, which is a bit aggressive. But remember, it was written way back in the 70s. So we've refined it and refined it since then. And that refinement's come through kind of feeling and doing and experimenting. Different teachers will teach it different ways, of course. And then you may feel the breathing. You may choose not to, but generally feel the breath. And you can play with that flow of breath out of it, or in and down, and up and down. And the duration, as well as the height and so on, is up to you. So if you need to come down, come down. You know what to do. Rest and then slide the legs away. And then rest and feel and relax. You're welcome to stay a little longer if it feels useful. It's not a competition. It's very personal. Your body, your mind. If you've had enough, then I suggest you, without too much fuss, throw the blanket over yourself or make sure you're warm enough and rest. If you'd like to do a third repetition, do it again. You can do, so the invitation is there. But there's no harm in just resting. Don't get cold. If you want to do it again, do. Again, you can change the flavour a little. You can mix it up a touch, change the arm position, leg position. when you've had enough of your third round, if indeed you're doing one, again, you can rest and make sure you're warm enough. If you're finding a blanket or whatever to throw over yourself, do it with kind of minimal plus. You don't disturb the kind of quality of the too much. You could change up the way you rest if you want to lie on your side with your knees up. Even on your tummy sometimes. You can do. Nothing to say you have to remove on the back. Kind of curl, deeply type position. Okay. A minute. Yes. So gently bring your knees over the abdomen. Take your time. You can rest your hands on your shins. If you need to take your knees a little apart to accommodate the hips, you can do. then rock very, very slowly, little by little, inch by inch, from side to side, slowly and gradually, increasing the distance of the rock. Take your time, little by little, just easing from side to side. This isn't just a transition, it's an exercise in its own right. And then at some point you can quietly roll over onto one side, if indeed you aren't already on your side. Once you're there, just mentally note where your cushion is and you can kind of plan how you're going to come up and sit on. You kind of rehearse in your head for a moment coming up. And then when it feels right, you put that mental plan into action. It's kind of keeping the nervous system quiet rather than startling yourself to coming up. And the body knows before it acts. Of course, we know how to sit, but you can kind of map it. So, feeling the sit bones, the base of the body, aware of the spine and that central column, if you like. The shoulders relaxing. The head, neck, and throat. The jaw, the tongue. Soft eyes, or closed eyes if you like. You're just going to spend a moment or two to feel before we move into the next exercise. You just sense the body, sense the breath. Where's your awareness? Relax. another minute. Okay, so the following exercise is described in 3 different ways in the book. It can be done standing with the legs apart and the hands on the hips. It can be done standing with the legs not so far apart, with the arms overhead. Or, as we're going to do it, and it's first described in the text. You can stand if you want, but it's first described in the text as sitting. In which case, yeah, the hands come towards the top of the thighs. And you make the slow forward bend or slow off center forward bend if you like. And then clockwise, you very, very slowly rotate. Come up on one side. If you want to do the standing version, it's the same movement standing, but of course you've got the legs involved. Then there's a little bit of a very subtle back bend. Just be sensible with that. And then down on the other side. So you know it well, but what I'd like you or invite you to do is slow it right down. If you want to do it standing and you know it well, you can do. You can either do the ball rotation or you can do it with the hands on the hips. And if you're doing it sitting, then it's quite simple. So I'll talk you through one round and then you can carry on and gradually slow it down. You slow it down in order to feel, and you feel in order to relax, really. So if you need to hover in a spot and just loosen and let go again, you can do. Just take yourself forward. You kind of judge your range of movement. It doesn't need to be a straight spine, it can round or bow a little. Keep the sit bones down and take yourself out and see. You're on a very high cushion, be careful. And gradually to the right, you can begin to circle. At some point, it'll feel right to come up. You either come up slightly sideways or you straighten up when you get to the top. Let the body decide that, what kind of angle you're at as you come up. If you're comfortable to do so, lift the sternum a little at the top. Not just the chin, but the sternum. Keep an open line through the throat. And gradually that moves to the left and down. And carry on. Now and again you might just hover and then move on. It's kind of moment by moment awareness, a bit like the frames of an animation. The next one moves on a bit and on a bit and on a bit. On the various minutes on a clock or seconds on a clock. Allow your animal energies as you move to really calm down. Which is, of course, the name of the exercise, calming inner energy. At some point, it'll feel right to just hover. Maybe it's in the forward bend. You might want to take some deeper breath or emphasize the exhale. And then reverse the circling to the left and up, over and down on the right. No rush. I sometimes get asked, how slow should you move? And my stock answer is slower than you're inclined to. Slow, of course, is a relative term. There's nothing to stop you moving faster and feeling. But for most of us, that's a challenge. It'll step too far sometimes. couple more slow rotations. Or of course stop if you've had enough. And maybe when you're ready, you come to that forward position. And very, very slowly, you can come to upright. And suppose settling in the spine, gradually unfurling up to the neck and then the head last of all. And hands can rest where you wish, on the knees in the lap. If you are still moving, that's fine. Go slow till it feels right. If you need to stretch a leg out or step a leg onto the floor, you can do. Don't suffer. If you want to collapse the leg down, you could. Otherwise, just quietly settle into sit. If you need to address anything, shoulders or neck, you can do. Just be instinctive in the way you move for a moment and then resettle. Rest within feeling. Letting feeling itself relax. Open up, spread, permeate, whatever you want to think of it. That kind of rippling out. Then relax that which is experiencing. Give the kind of attention, mind, if you like, lots of space and time just to rest. Don't work anything out, just allow that spacious. Or bring to mind anyone you want to dedicate the practice to. One of our number tonight is unable to be here for various reasons. You may want to dedicate it to someone close. You may want to dedicate to kind of generic idea, suffering, particular time, or a place, or someone you've seen on the news, or read about, or someone you know, and so on. Or just all sentient beings, if that's possible in the realm of your awareness. So you can seal the practice in. Give yourself some credit. And then honour any lineage or teachers or anybody who's influenced you in any way. And then dedicate the merit of the practice wheresoever you wish. And then maybe you want to acknowledge each other, or practitioners everywhere, your sangha, your group of like-minded people.